Where are we right now? You can say something? What?
Alabama.
No, Alamo. San
Weapons demonstration. To start things off, we're going to have Mr. Barry pop off around. We'll be a little loud, so if you have sensitive hearing, please close your ears.
Wow, close your ear. What the hit? Nothing. Close your ear, Sophia. When you, I will tell you.
That's very good.
Okay, folks, so we're going to be living history staff here at the Alamo. We're going to put up the weapons that you would have seen used in the siege and battle. And demonstrate those weapons for you. Well, so in the Battle of the Alamo, they had several types of firearms that were used here. They had rifles, they had muskets, shotguns, and of course the artillery. But we're focusing on the small arms. I'm going to start with the rifle weapon of this time, which is what Mr. Barry is holding. This is a civilian hunting rifle.
This is a hunting right.
See a lot of these out here on the frontier. In fact, this would be the type of firearm Colonel Crockett would have had with him. Men coming here from Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, that are coming to help in this war. And men living out here, again, it's a hunting firearm. And it is a rifled weapon. So this has rifling in the bore. So what rifling is a series of cut grooves. Okay, there's not 7 of them that are cut into the bore of the barrel and they twist all the way down to the breech. And what that will do is when you shoot that ball, and it's all that ball this time, it's going to grab that rifle, start to spin on the ball as it exits the barrel. And a spinning ball is going to go straight and give us a greater range. Rifles, they were known for having a range between 300 and 400 yards. I mean, they were very accurate. And again, this is a weapon that Colonel Crockett would have had with him. And he was quoted as saying, if I could see it, I could hit it. He was an excellent shot. Now, a lot of men on the frontier were, you had to be to survive out there. So the problem was loading these things at that time. Okay, all firearms at this period were what we call muzzle loaded. So the gunpowder and ball have to be pushed down the barrel to load the weapon. And with rifle firearms at that time, it was even more difficult because of the rifling in the bore of the weapon. It was hard pushing the ball down the barrel. If that ball's grabbing that rifling, it's very restricted. You have to force it in. So they take a bit of time. So men on the frontier with hunting rifles, they would carry a shooting bag that would contain the tools to operate the weapon, keep it clean, tools to make ammunition, because you would have to make your own ammunition on the frontier. And attached to the bag would be a powder measure, something mechanical, that someone made the tips of deer antlers, and they were hollow. So you would measure out your gunpowder with your powder measure from the powder horn, which is also attached to the bag, that holds the gunpowder. Pour the gunpowder into the powder measure, you would then pour that into the barrel, and then get a cut piece of cloth or a patch that's greased with some type of animal fat like bear grease. You place the patch on the muzzle, put the ball on top of that, pull out the ramrod and shove it in there. When you push it in, that patch will wrap around the ball. Okay? But again, the hard part is getting it down to the breech. You got to force it in and sit that patched ball on top of the powder. So once that's done, you then would put the ramrod back in place, would open the priming pan, pour gunpowder out of the horn into the pan, shut it, and you're ready to go. And that's for one shot. Okay, everything at this time is one shot. And that whole process of loading a rifle firearm, hunting rifle in particular, can take up to a minute for one shot. Okay, and that was the downside. They take way too long to load. But again, it's a hunting weapon. Alright? But the upside was its accuracy and range. And when this war breaks out in Texas, men are grabbing what they have. A lot of them are showing up what they're hunting firearms. So, and it used to look good effect against the Mexican army in this war. Now, the other weapon we see used here, most common, is the soldier's firearm. That is the musket. Okay? Now, if any man were to join the army during this time and he was placed in line infantry, this is the weapon he will be issued. These are what we call smooth bore. Okay, so the barrel of this weapon has no rifling. It's basically a pipe. Now, if you shoot an unpatched ball out of a smooth bore firearm, the ball is going to rattle down the barrel. Okay, whatever it strikes in the muzzle as it exits, the ball is going to go the opposite direction. So to prevent that from happening, the soldier would be issued paper cartridges. So this would have the ball and powder rolled up in a paper. So it's all there. And the paper is the wadding. This will help prevent the ball from rattling down the barrel, giving us more of a straight shot. Of course, it's going to burn off. Now, when the ball comes out, because it's not rifled, After about 100 yards or so, the ball will begin to turn, much like a knuckleball does in baseball. Up, down, left, right. We don't know where it's going to go. So if we hit anything beyond that range, it'll be by pure luck. Now, to make up for the inaccuracy of this weapon is why armies would have their infantry in a line, standing elbow to elbow, and we all fire together at once in mass volleys. Doing that, we're going to hit more of the enemy on the field. And the enemy's doing it to us, same thing. So the battlefield this time is about speed of loading, and that is why we use the musket over the rifle. As I said earlier, the rifle can take up to a minute to load one shot. For the trained soldier with the musket, he should be able to load this under 20 seconds. So he should be getting 3, possibly 4 shots a minute, compared to 1 with rifle firearms. The battlefield speed of loading, if we can fire more lead at the enemy, we're going to drive them off and take the field. That's more important than accuracy. Now, the morning of this battle, know that all the men within these walls would have had personal weapons that they had brought with them, but up to 4 muskets loaded next to them that morning. They're just grabbing and firing as quick as they could. Okay? But for the soldier in the line, we have to know the 12-step military drill of loading the musket so we can cut it to that 20-second time frame. So we start them at what's called order arms. We tell them to shoulder arms. Now this would be the most common way of carrying a weapon on the march. And if you are infantry in the line, the weapon goes on the left shoulder. Now we're going to tell the men to load in 12 times. Load. Open. Pen. Handle. Cartridge. Now as I said, the cartridge is a paper tube. It's got ball and powder rolled up in it. Now these are crimped over. The only way we can open it is to tear cartridge. They would bite off the end of it, spit it out, and prime. So they pour powder into the pan, and we tell them to shut pen and cast about. Charge cartridge. The remaining powder is poured into the barrel. The ball stays in the paper. They wad it up and stuff it into the muzzle. And we got to drive it to the breech. So tell them to draw ramrod and ram cartridge. So they sling it in, pack it tight, return ramrod. Shoulder, arms. They bring the weapon to the left shoulder, which tells the officer that they're loaded and ready to go. And the quickest time, this should be done in 20 seconds. It can't be difficult, however, because you are being shot at. Now, when we see them at that left shoulder, we know the last 3 commands are ready, aim, and fire. Boom. Shoulder, arms. We go to the shoulder, we do it all over. Again, that's 1 shot. Now, going back to the rifleman, he would be operating independently from the line because of the accuracy of his firearm. Okay, so he wouldn't have to fire in volleys, and he would actually be working as a team with the man in rank behind him. They work together. Okay, since it takes so long to load, you have one man firing while the other man is loading, and then they would move forward. Okay? Now the man back there, that is our drummer. He is very important. Now he's not just used to keep the men in cadence during the march, but he's used on the battlefield because it could be so loud with muskets, rifles, artillery going off. The men at the end of the line cannot hear the commands, but they can hear that drum. So he is relaying the commands to the men in the line. Now each of us are going to fire 3 volleys. The rifleman will be firing independently on his own, but as far as line infantry, we will be firing in volleys. We're going to shoot 3 rounds. Again, folks, it's going to be a little loud, so if you have sensitive hearing, please cover your ears. Loading 12 commands. Load. Open. Head. Handle. Cartridge. Tear. Cartridge. Prime. Bout. Charge cartridge. Draw ramrod. Ram cartridge. Return ramrod. Shoulder, arms. Fire. Hey! Hey! Fire! Shoulder, arms. Shoulder, arms. Spring rammer.
Hold on. Why you add it?
Shoulder, arms. Cover, arms. Ease, springs. Right face. Side, arms. Dismiss. Huzzah!
I was